Hey everybody, this is Lucas from EC Coding, and today we're going over terminal basics for absolute beginners. If you don't know what the terminal is, go ahead and type in terminal in the search bar if you have a Mac. If you don't have a Mac, you have a Windows machine, go ahead and type in command prompt, and it'll open up something very similar to this. Second thing you want to do is open up your Finder in your Mac. It's in the lower left. Click on it. If you have a Windows laptop, once again, you can search for file system. I believe that is what will show up and it'll look like this or something similar. So if you're familiar with the Finder, you know you can create a folder um, just like so. And if you want to, you can duplicate it. You can move a folder inside of another folder, so on and so forth. But what I want to show you is that you can do all of this within the terminal. And this is how we're going to be able to do it in like a software type of a way. Anything that you can do in the terminal, or anything you can do in the file system, rather, you can also do in the terminal. A few commands I want to teach you guys. The first one is pwd. You type in pwd, it shows you where you are on the terminal. This shows me that I am within a folder called EC Coding, which is within another folder called users. And in the file system, I am within a folder called EC Coding, which is within the folder of users. So that's PWD. And the second command that I want to show you guys is ls. This lists what's inside of my folders. So if we minimize this, EC Coding has one folder, and I can see it here in the terminal. Last command for the intro is cd. If you do cd and then you pass it the folder name, press enter, you basically navigate inside of the folder. So check this out, pwd. I am now inside of the folder, which is within C coding within users. And the same thing, you can do that in the file system. You double click, and now you are within the folder, and I can see the folder copy. So if I ls, there it is, the folder copy. And if I want to go back into a directory, into the previous directory, I can click on the arrow here, or I can do cd dot dot. Now I'm in the EC coding directory. The dot dot is a symbol that just tells the terminal, hey, I'm referring to the previous folder. So once again, if I do pwd, I am inside this EC coding folder. Awesome. So what do these stand for? PWD stands for print working directory. LS stands for list. CD stands for change directory. And one thing that I want to highlight is that directory and folder are the exact same thing. I might say directory when I mean folder, or folder or directory, but they're both the same. They're synonymous. Essentially, they are both just a place where you can store other files and folders. Okay. Going back to the terminal, if you type in clear, press enter, it gets rid of all the previous commands you've written. And they're not actually gone. If you want them, you can just scroll up, but they're just hidden. So it's nice and easy to see them. Cool. So continuing on, mkdir. So one way that we can create folders is we can go here, like we did at the very beginning. Well, you can also create a folder with this command, and you give it a folder name. Press enter. Look, I just created a folder called folder name by my terminal. And just as we see in the Finder on the left, if I ls, I can see that exact same folder. So mkdir stands for make directory, and we can do this in the terminal. What if I wanted to create a file? One way you can do that is you can open like a text editor or a like Word document or whatever, and then you can save it in here. Or if you want to do it in the terminal, this is the command touch. You touch and the name of your file. I'll say file name, and it creates a file called file name. And if I open this, it's just empty right now. But this is how you can create empty files in the terminal. Create an empty file. All right, remove. One way you can remove things is by double click. move to trash. I could even drag and drop this to trash if I wanted to. Or in the terminal, this is the rm command. I can rm a file name, and the file name is gone. It's gone. I can also rm my folder. Notice that it gives me like a mini error message when I do this command. I actually need to do rm dash r with the name of the folder that I want to remove. Dash R is essential because it just tells the terminal that I know that I'm going to work on a directory. Um, so when I do this, there you go. That keyword dash R was able to remove that folder name. And if I list, it is now gone as well. So rm, um, whoops, remove file, and then we did rm dash R, which is for remove directory or whoops. Or folders. I'll start using folder instead of directory. All right. What about move? Well, I can do this. I can take my folder copy and I can move it outside of my folder, just like so. I can move it back inside, just like so. That's very manual. What if I wanted to do it in the terminal? You can. That's where the mv command comes in. It's move what you want to move. I want to move my folder and where you want to move it to. I want to move my folder inside of a folder copy. So I noticed I got a little error message. One thing with when you're working with folders or file names that have spaces, like folder copy, it has a space right here, but it's the name of the folder. How do I handle that? What you do is you add quotations, and this will tell the terminal, hey, I want you to basically ignore the space and just treat this as one big name, okay? So if I press enter now, I have moved my folder into my folder copy. And if I want to move my folder outside of the folder copy, um, one thing that I can do is I can go inside of my folder copy, like so, with quotations. I see my folder, and I can um, move my folder, move the name of your folder and the location where you want to move it, dot, dot. We saw this dot, dot command earlier. This, once again, just means the previous folder, the previous directory. I press enter. Look, it is gone. It is not there when I list it, and I see it here. And if I cd back one directory and then list it, I see that folder um, is in the EC coding directory, just as we see it in the Finder. Sweet. So that's how we move. What about copy? Well, you saw me do it earlier. I can duplicate this and it'll create a brand new copy of a folder. But did you know that you can do this in the terminal? For example, um, if I want to copy my folder and I want to call it folder one, press enter. Okay, getting a little error message. Once again, whenever we're working on folders, for RM, when we're removing and copying, we need to do dash R. So this once again just says, I want you to copy the entire folder. And there's nothing in the folder, it just creates a new copy. So reading out this command, it says copy. I'm going to tell you to copy a directory. The directory's name is folder, and I want you to call it folder one. And that's exactly what we've done here. We can also copy files. So if I create a brand new file, we can copy file and call it file one. Cool. So we just created a brand new copy using the terminal commands. Sweet. So MV stands for move. You can move files and folders. CP stands for copy files. CP-R is to copy folders. And now I want to go over a little bonus. Cat. What is cat? Cat is a command for the terminal. It stands for concatenate. You can do cat file. Cat, the name of a file. What it basically does is it outputs what's inside of the file. So notice that my file is empty, but if I give it some text and I save it, now when I cat file, it outputs some text. I think that's an empty space. Let's try this out. Some text, hooray, and then new sentence. We'll save it, exit it. There it is again. Awesome. So it reads the contents of the file, including the individual lines, and outputs it. That is cat, which stands for concatenate. What about echo? Well, this was a unique one where notice the contents of the file are here. If I echo, it's a kind of a tricky one. I can put in quotations uh, the new words that I want to say with quotations, and I do this greater than symbol and the name of my file. And what it does is it takes everything that's within the quotations and it adds it into my file. So now if I open my file, it has the new words. And I can prove it by saying cat file and it has the new words once again. Let's try that again with the new words. Just another edit. Edit my file, open my file. It says the new text, and once again I can cat it just to see it visually once again. Sweet. But notice that whenever I do this, it basically replaces the contents of the file. It doesn't um, keep track of what I had previously. It's brand new every time. So use it sparingly. Um, just another fun way that you can write to a file. Let's see, write text to a file. Awesome. So this is some cool things that we've learned in the terminal, some terminal basics. Um, if you learned something, like, if you want to learn more, subscribe. And if there's something specific you want to learn, comment. Other than that, we'll see you later. Bye.